All right, Hafaday, welcome back to the Hotspot, everybody. I have joining me right now the one and only Samantha Taitano. Of course, she is the executive director of the Manelu organization. And Sam, first of all, welcome to the show. It's great to see you as always. But I know you gave us some time, and we got an audience with you because the brand new Micronesian Resource Center has opened up in Tamuning, a fantastic facility. But the one thing that stuck out to me about the story, and the reason why I really wanted to get you on here, is the Learning Center now bears a very, very proud and name that is going to last forever. Of course, Edimund Wengu, a very, very dear friend of ours who was to us both and to many on the island, who left us way too soon. But now that wonderful facility allows his memory to live on forever. So maybe tell me, if you can, Sam, about how the decision to actually name the Resource Center after Ed. I mean, first of all, I think that's absolutely fitting.
Yes. Well, good morning.
Good
So
morning.
I think I think really what it was shortly after his passing, the Learning Center was something that we were working on, and we knew we wanted to have as part of our facility. It had, it was something that we were constantly talking about. It was more of just a space issue, right? We needed to have a large enough space where we would be able to have our office space and then also have that learning center space. And so we were able to expand a little bit shortly before he passed. And so we had already kind of been in the works, and just sort of immediately after he passed, it was clear to us that we wanted to honor him, and honor his legacy, the work that he had done within the community, the impact that he had made within the community through the Learning Center. So, it wasn't even really kind of a question. It was just sort of like, no, Ed had been working on us with this. He knew that this was going to be important for the community. We're going to honor him through this.
Mm-hmm. I know because I had the very, very pleasure of maybe interviewing him a half dozen times over maybe like the last 4 or 5 years, for holidays, for, his work with the Micronesian community, for just his charitable works and his humanity. And in each one of those, I mean, his character, the personality of the man really shone through in being, ever humble, but very, very dedicated and tireless to making sure that, that there were resources for the people he represented. And he didn't just limit himself to one particular ethnic group. I mean, he fought for all people. And I think, the memories of him are, I know for us at KUM, we're always going to remember someone who was very, very selfless and, like an amazing human being.
I know, it truly is. And when we had finally kind of put up his picture in the Learning Center, just, like having his like smile in there, and just like remembering all of the good times, the fun times, the hard times, and just all of the work that we've done together. It was just, it was truly like a wonderful moment, and his family was able to come by and sort of share in the opening of the Learning Center, and a lot of his friends also came through. And so it's been really nice, to bring everyone back together and to sort of celebrate Ed.
Mm-hmm. Well, those of us who knew him, maybe tangentially, I mean, like I said, I was trying to share some of my own impressions and memories of him. But, as someone who worked as closely with him, can you describe for us, what was the nature of the partnership that the both of you came up with, and, like collaborating on ideas and really like, putting strategy from your mind onto paper and then really executing on those plans, to do good work in the community?
So I mean, the partnership has always been so wonderful, but one of the things that I really remember about Ed, and that he would kind of talk about with the caseworkers, is that we need people who aren't afraid to ruffle feathers when it comes to doing the right things, and of course that doesn't mean being disrespectful. Ed was extremely respectful. Like you said, he was extremely humble, but he knew what was right, and he knew what he was sort of working towards and advocating for in the community. And he wasn't afraid to, ruffle those feathers, or to make a stand about the things that needed to change within the community, the things that were right within the community, the things that were wrong, things we needed to work on. So, he was a true advocate who was willing to like put his foot down about things and to talk about things and make a stand. So
Mhm.
that's one of the big things that I remember about Ed. And then with that, it was his kindness. He was so personable. He made friends with everybody. I mean, just like remembering his like big smile and like his laughter, like you couldn't help but like love this guy. He had such a big heart for the
Absolutely.
community. Yeah, and it wasn't just with our organization. He was tied into so many other organizations. He was huge into volleyball, like
Yep.
he brought that advocacy everywhere he went, and he made a point to like kind of promote all of those things through everything that he did,
Mhm.
even like the paddling. Like he was just such an active guy.
Yeah. Even though, his nature was like, as you said, I mean, he was a fighter, but he was like naturally soft spoken. He was a
Yes.
funny dude too. I remember that. He had a great sense of humor.
Yes, he did. He had a great sense of humor, and he just had like these like really quick jokes. He was just extremely intelligent, extremely well spoken,
Yes.
and knowledgeable about a lot of things.
And can I ask you, Sam, because you said like, when you put the picture of him in the learning center, is the picture of him, because you could have depicted him in many different eras, during his wonderful life, which is, far too short for sure. But did you have the beard? Does the picture of him
Yes.
show the beard? That beard
Yes, it
was
has
next
the
level. I love the
the
beard.
beautiful big like full beard. Like that's the way that we remember him, the big smile and the big beard.
And that was part of his charm too. When he come in, I even asked him about that sometimes. I was like, nah, there's you and ZZ Top, and he goes, yeah, I've had to work in this, and you could have a conversation with Ed about anything, and it was like talking to a lifelong friend. I mean, that's the one thing that I'll always remember about him. He gave someone like me that just wanted to, ask him about his work. And you come into like a TV studio, and it can be, I get it, it can be a little bit intimidating because there's lights and there's a whole bunch of people running all over the place. I'm really trying to rush you and everything. But I mean, the man was as cool as a cucumber. But like you said, really, really focused on the mission that he set for himself, that really what he wanted to get done.
Yes, yes. And even if he like had any nerves about anything, they like quickly kind of brushed off, and then you just got like, the good-natured guy that he is.
Mm-hmm. And ask you, Sam, because I think it's absolutely again justified and so righteous that the learning center itself be named in his honor, because that was a big part of himself. And you said very, very well read, incredibly intelligent, unbelievably well spoken. I mean, like obviously fun to interact with and everything. And you could have said, okay, we're gonna name the server room after Ed, or or the lounge or something like that. Why did you pick the learning center specifically?
It just really because it was what we had been working on most like previously, and he was just like really passionate about making it a reality. And like he was sort of like the driving force behind like, okay, like yeah, like let's get this learning center together, and whenever we would talk, like we always are like, yes, like we're gonna make it happen, right? So like everything it's not like, oh, if we can, it's like we're going to.
Mhm.
There's no question about, if it's always we're going to do it, we're going to make the learning center happen. The timeline, we don't always have necessarily a timeline, but we always knew like this is going to happen. And so, and just being able to honor him through it, and as being a place where anybody from the community who's a client of ours can kind of come in and get like that individual learning. It's really kind of goes back to giving people the tools to empower themselves, and I think that's a big part about what Ed wanted to see with the community.
Which is exactly what he was all about. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up, Sam. But let me just ask you again about your friend and someone who knew him, probably far closer than most of us, ever did. When you finally saw, because you've been working on this project, for the resource center for like a very, very long time, and when you obviously, like, as the executive director, you sign off on all the big decisions. But when that sign was raised up and it said the Edimund Wengu Learning Resource Center, and you actually saw it there tangibly, and physically, what does that mean for you?
It just means so much. Like my heart is so full. The way that we were able to really put the Learning Center together was thanks to a lot of donations from the community. So it was not only donations from organizations and companies, but we got individual donations from people. So people who wanted to support the creation of this Learning Center, people who also wanted to honor Ed and his legacy. And so actually being able to have, like, we have a beautiful donor wall that's up in the Learning Center, and it's a huge breadfruit tree. And so we have like the
Aw.
different kinds of donors. So we have like our root donor, which is Matson, and then we have our bark donors, which are just like a lot of like individuals who wanted to contribute. We have our breadfruit donors, and then we have our leaf donors. And so we have individuals, and then we also have Bank of Guam. And so just seeing this like beautiful tree and like Ed's name, and then we have like a little section that talks about Ed, and we have Ed's picture up there, like just seeing it all come together, it's so beautiful, and it's so like heartwarming to know like there's so many people in the community who are invested and who care about other people in the community succeeding and being able to provide them those tools to succeed. And so now that we're able to finally open it, we're so happy. It means that people are going to be able to come in here, and we're going to be able to increase the impact, and and that Ed is still a huge part of our organization and making that happen.
Absolutely. And the work that he did and what he stood for and the man that he was, all of those things are going to stand the test of time, because now, the Resource Center forever bears his name. And that's a very, very proud name. So job well done, Sam. And congratulations once again on opening the Resource Center. We'll be visiting you a bunch, because you guys are doing amazing work.
Thank you so much. And also just like a big shout out to my team, because you're right, I sign up on the paperwork, but they truly make the work happen. So, shout out to them for all of the hard work that they did to make the opening happen, and the work that we continue to do in the community.
All right. Well, that's Samantha Taitano, the executive director of Manelu. Go check them out at the Micronesia Resource Center, everybody. They are in Tamuning. They are ready to help you out. And, if consider volunteering with Sam's wonderful organization too. If you're a student, if you're a church group and everything, it is going to be amazing work. And again, you'll get to find out about the legacy of Edimund Wengu, a dear, dear friend to all of us on Guam. So Sam, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
All right. We're back with more Hotspot right after this, everybody.